Last month, we booked over 300 meetings on LinkedIn, and I know it's a cringy platform, but in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why you should be using LinkedIn for your B2B lead generation. And it's the perfect platform for B2B lead generation for two simple reasons. The first reason is the majority of people are on there for a business reason. They're in a business frame of mind compared to if you're on Facebook or Instagram, for example. And the second reason is the majority of people on there are decision makers. So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through exactly how I go and do my outreach campaigns to generate qualified leads. There's going to be templates in there. There's going to be showing you the cadence of how you should actually go and do your outreach, all that good stuff. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. So my opinion on LinkedIn as a social media platform, it's full of wishy-washy content, sort of people just posting sort of memorable quotes and things like that. There are some good creators on there that do posting, and they're actually very good at generating leads. But I'm going to be walking you through how you can utilize LinkedIn and do outreach to go and get you qualified leads. And it's an absolute goldmine, and all you've got to know is where to look, how to actually engage with the prospects, and how to actually convert them. So with that being said, I'm just going to walk you through some results. So for one of my clients here, 43 leads in 20 days. We've got another one here, 12 leads in 10 days. That was a shorter campaign. This one, 16 leads in 26 days. This one, 48 leads in 22 days. And with these campaigns, these were all done on the main driver was LinkedIn, and then we use email as well. So that was just to show you some of the results there. And if you think that doing outbound or you're sort of too good to do outbound, there are hundreds and thousands of jobs where people where businesses are basically promoting people to be an SDR or a BDM, which basically means like someone on sales. And the majority of people in certain industries like tech or property or finance or whatever it may be, they will all be using LinkedIn to go and do their outreach. So it's no longer just a social media platform. But the reason why I've put here LinkedIn is built for outbound is these three following reasons. So 63 million decision makers, so people who can actually make a decision, so you can reach out to them, pitch them your product or service, and they can actually make a decision. 50% of those users earn above $75,000 per year, which is higher than the average income. So people with money are on the platform, and there are 1 billion plus users on the platform, and literally only 1% of those people actually post regularly on a regular basis throughout the week. So what is everyone else doing? They're talking in the DMs, or they're just scrolling through the content where those people are posting. So people are actually connecting and actually having conversations in the DMs. So you're probably thinking, where can you look for the leads? So I've done other trainings on this, but you can use a tool like LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You get a free month for the first month, but after that, it's a paid tool. But you can see here, you can be extremely specific with the filters. So for example, in this screenshot, I've just filtered through companies with a certain headcount, so companies 1 to 200. I'm looking at companies that are privately held. I'm looking at companies that are based in the UK. I'm looking at certain job titles like CEO, director, founder, co-founder. I'm looking at seniority level as well. So I want to double check. I want to doubly make sure that people are, directors, VPs, or owner partners. The list goes on. I can target people who are based in the UK. I can target certain industries. So I just selected financial services. I can also target people who have recently posted on LinkedIn, so you've got a higher chance of reaching out to them. You can see just with those results, there was 2,000 results. I think I did a few more filters below here, but it's just endless. And these people you can reach out to, start connecting with, messaging them, and understanding if they need your product or service. So it's a goldmine because it's the only platform where someone's job title's on there, where their company is on there, usually their email's attached to there, you've got their experience and what they've done, where they're located. On Facebook, you don't really have that. On Instagram, you don't really have that. On LinkedIn, it is on there. You can literally see where when someone just recently left their job. There's so many different metrics that you can use for your outreach. It's a goldmine. So how do you actually there was a free version here. So what I mean by free version is you can just go onto LinkedIn and just type in, say, accountant. They've not got as advanced filters as LinkedIn Sales Navigator up here, but people always say to me, can you do this for free? Absolutely, you can do this for free. It just takes a little bit more time. So you go into the search bar, go into filters, and you can start filtering away through the leads, and then you can start connecting with people and so on and so forth. So that is a free version. Don't get caught up on having to pay for this. So how to actually engage. And I'm going to show you a live example of what I've done to be able to reach out to someone and then convert them onto a sales call and then into a client. But this is just one of many methods that you can do. I could sit here for hours and hours and explain the cadence of how you should reach out to people, because people, sort of get caught up on that. So obviously, the first thing you want to do is actually connect with people on LinkedIn. So you wait for them to accept the connection request. It's like on Facebook. So as soon as they've accepted the connection request, that's when you can actually start a conversation. You can use emails, but they just, in my experience, just don't really perform very well unless you're doing a really high volume. So you connect with someone at that level, and then what I usually suggest is engage with their profile. So you would go and view their profile, you would go and like one of their posts, you would go and comment, you would do something to show you've engaged. You can endorse people, whatever that is, to make sure that they know, okay, you've checked them out. That's perfect, that's absolutely fine. Then you would send the first message after connecting with them, and you don't have to deep this. You could say something like good to connect, whatever it may be. There's so many different ways to do this. And then you want to go and engage with their profile again. So this is all done over the course of a couple of days. This is not done on one specific day, because it'll just look spammy and it'll just look like you're sort of desperate to reach out to them. So the way I do things, and the reason why we get so many leads from LinkedIn, is because we space all of this stuff out. So on message two or three, that is when you would actually start really initiating that conversation to try and get them to respond, to understand, okay, can they, do they have the pain to actually go and use your product or service? And then that's when you would go and pitch them. So a lot of people mess this up, and they do this literally in the connection request, and it's just, honestly, if you pitch someone in the connection request, you may as well just move on to the next prospect. Like, you've wasted your time. So in the second or third messages, that's when you would go and send that sort of pitch message to them, or whatever it is. I don't really like the phrase pitch message, but whatever. And then if they don't respond, you would go and engage with their profile and message them. And this can go on and on and on over the course of months, but I'm just showing you a very quick cadence that you could go and follow. Now, a lot of people ask me again, what do you actually say? So there's so many different things you can be saying to the prospects rather than just a direct sell. So, and I'm going to explain some examples, but you've got things like, you could mention a mutual connection. You could ask them about a referral partnership. You could speak to them about a recent post, explain a recent case study that you've got. You could reach out to them and say, I noticed something you could improve because I've looked on your website or your LinkedIn profile, whatever it may be. Direct sell, you can go in with that. Previous event attendees, pain points. So you might want to go in and explain the pain points of your clients who are very similar to them. You could offer someone a free resource. You could explain to them, okay, I see that you follow my profile, or you follow a other specific profile. You could reach out to them and say, I saw your comment on this post. You could reach out to them to say if they wanted a networking opportunity, if they've just raised funds, ask for feedback. This list literally goes on and on and on. So I just want to share a real life example of what I did to actually go and reach out to someone, and they actually became a client. Obviously, I blurred it out for obvious reasons, but basically what we've done here is we've connected with them, we've engaged their profile, and then we've shared a mutual connection, and then asked a simple question, and this is not a yes or no question, and then we've asked a specific question related to my service, explain what I do, and then see if they're interested, and then schedule a meeting. So we basically said, hi Cliff, I hope 2025 is treating you well. My friend Hamish runs a similar business to you guys. There aren't many of you in the space. And then he's replied and said, good to connect. Things are good on my end. I hope the same is for you. Now, that conversation could have been dead right there. So the goal is to make sure you ask another question to sort of keep that conversation going. You always want to keep that loop going, and you don't just want a yes or no question here. So you can see, all good, mate. What type of businesses are you working with at the moment? And you can see my style and tonality here. This is generally how I speak to people anyway. You sort of want to match them with their own style and tonality, but LinkedIn is very similar to like if you were going to WhatsApp someone, or you were just going to send your colleague like a really quick email. You're not sending like massive paragraphs. You can see it's super easy to read. The likelihood is he's probably pulled this out on his phone and he's quickly just typing back to me or whatever it may be. So that is one of the key things there. So when you're reaching out to people, it's a massive fucking paragraph. They will not respond. So all I've done is keep the loop open. So what businesses are you working with at the moment? He's saying that he's working with non-for-profits. And then there was a bit of back and forth, just asking a bit about sort of what his target market is. Again, keeping that loop open. And then I've basically said here, so ask a specific question related to my service. This is key. I'm not asking random questions here. So I'm asking, are you actively looking for more business to work with at the moment? So I'm basically saying, do you need more leads? Like, are you looking for more clients? Because I do lead generation and I offer lead generation services. He's put always looking. So he is looking for more clients. And then he's put, what's your pitch, with a smiley face. So he obviously knows that I'm sort of reaching out for a reason, but I still don't know if he has the real pain in terms of, would he even need my services? So he just put, so I just put, haha, no pitch. I just know a few automation agencies and consultants that struggle with lead generation. So I'm explaining that I know people who struggle with what he's actually trying to achieve. And then he's put, yeah, that's always the issue. Need to continuously look for new leads. And then I've just basically said, so at that point, I know that he has the pain. So he's got the pain. That's when we would then go in and say, okay, explain what I do and let's schedule a meeting. So happy to chat about that if you're looking to book more meetings. We've got a great process for this using LinkedIn and email. No ads. So I'm basically explaining, you're not having to use paid ads. Happy to hear about what solutions that you have. Can you chat tomorrow? And then I just give them a time, and then we booked him in, had the sales call. He's obviously checked out my LinkedIn profile in the interim between then. We've had the sales call, and then he's came on as a client the following week. So that's how simple it can be. And people overcomplicate this. You just need to make sure, have they got the pain, and don't sound like a robot when you're reaching out to people. So through 4 detailed examples that you can do here. So I'm going to go through mutual connection, referral partnership, pain points, and case study. So a mutual connection example could be something along the lines of, hey name, do you know, and then insert mutual connection. Definitely knows his stuff around there, and then explain their expertise. Anyway, good to connect. So that would look like, hey John, do you know James Smith? He definitely knows his stuff around lead generation. Anyway, good to connect with you, John. So there's something about a mutual connection where people, it feels more comfortable for them, because if you know someone else and you both have that in common, so you both know the same person, it's like, oh, there's a bit of a sigh of relief. It's like, oh God, this guy's not a sales guy. He's not trying to pitch me. Obviously, we're not trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. It's something interesting. It's a commonality between you and the prospect. So the goal is to make sure we're moving them from a cold prospect to a warm prospect. And obviously that one message is not going to turn them from a cold to a warm prospect, but it's certainly going to help you inch your way forward and get there. And by the way, these examples here are just to sort of get that ball rolling and sort of get you onto that next stage. So, for example, here, I wasn't explaining and pitching straight away. I've already engaged with this profile. This is 5 days in. I've engaged with this profile. I've already sent him a connection request before this. And then I've sent him one message, and then I've sent him another message. So it's a couple of days in. I'm not sort of going in for the kill. So mutual connection is a great way to go and do that. And then referral partnership as well. So you've got the example here, but I'll just explain. So, hi John, we've got clients interested in lead generation similar to what you guys offer. Is it worth exploring? Is it worth looking into a partnership? We're looking for a trusted provider at the moment. If so, I'm sure this could build your pipeline. So here, if you are looking for referral partnerships, this is a goldmine as well for example, for a lot of people in certain industries like the property and finance sector. Like a mortgage broker would always partner up with a real estate agent, then they can go and build each other's pipelines. So that's another good way to actually go and increase lead generation for your business. Pain points, this is obviously a bit more of an obvious one, so you want to explain sort of the pain that they're facing. So, hey John, saw you offer lead generation for SEO services. Just spoke to someone else in lead gen, and they told me they usually run into issues like not having enough time to follow with warm prospects in their pipeline, which leads to cold leads. Are you seeing this over at X, Y, and Z company? So here, breaking that down, you're basically saying, the pain that they suffer with, and then, is this a problem that you have? Again, it's more of an open-ended question. We're just trying to get them over to that next line. And then the case study one, this is a bit more of a shorter example. So, XYZ company is similar to Easy SEO. So you basically here, you could mention a specific client. So I'm basically referencing that my client is Easy SEO. So XYZ company, so their company is similar to Easy SEO, who added an extra $20,000 in revenue in 1 month while working with us. Would you be open to hearing about how we can give you a similar result? So again, that's a bit more forward. Obviously, you would want to make sure you've got a couple more touch points before then, but that's another prime example that you can do. by the way, if you do want templates for each and every single one of these and actually what to say to go and get you leads booked in and qualified prospects, then just DM me the word on Instagram, DM, and I will send that over to you. But generally, all of these resources I keep for my coaching clients. So again, click the link in the description if you want to hear more about that, or follow the instructions on Instagram, and you can have a chat with me and we can discuss the one-on-one coaching that I do for my clients. So how do you actually convert these people? So the first thing you want to do, obviously this sounds a little bit backwards right now because we've already been talking about getting meetings booked in, but the first thing you want to do is make sure that you've got an optimized profile. And everyone sort of throws this term, I kind of hate that term, optimize your profile, but you've got to look at your LinkedIn profile and it should almost be like a mini landing page. And what I mean by that, if someone bounces onto your LinkedIn profile, they should know instantly within 1 to 2 seconds exactly what you do, and then within about 5 to 10 seconds they can scroll down and actually go and potentially book a call with you, or it'll take them over to a video sales letter or something like that. Not taking people over to your website, taking you over to a book a call, or taking people over to a landing page. So it's got to be crystal clear. You want to make sure you've got a decent image in there. Again, you've got to play the game with LinkedIn. Everyone's very corporate on there. If you've got an image of your dog as the photo, then you're just not going to get any responses. If you've not got a banner and it's not looking professional, again, that could hurt your deliverability. I literally onboarded a client this week, and he literally had a image of a laptop as his profile picture, and we're about to run outbound campaigns, and he's been running his business for multiple years. He hasn't really used LinkedIn too much, but we're really looking to ramp things up. But even him, I'm telling him, mate, you need to have a profile picture on there, otherwise when you reach out to people and connect with them, they are not going to they're just not going to accept, or you're going to get a lower acceptance rate. And he didn't even have his personal page connected to his company page. So if you go onto LinkedIn and you've not got your personal page connected to a legit company page where people can go onto the website, they can see your About Us section, then it just looks a bit off. It just looks a bit odd. It looks strange. You want to have everything succinct. You want to have your experience explaining exactly what you've done in the past, what you're doing right now for that specific company. Make sure your current job is actually tagged correctly. Like, how long have you been working at a certain company? There's loads of things you want to do to make sure this profile has been optimized. Then you want to figure out what your ICP is. So going back to the Sales Navigator, you can go and create lists inside LinkedIn Sales Navigator and then literally go and have a cadence and reach out to them. You can also do it automated, and you can automate certain parts of this. But if you're just starting out on using LinkedIn, then I recommend just creating a simple list and reaching out to those people on a slow cadence, because you can only send a certain amount of connections on a daily and a weekly basis. I think at the moment with LinkedIn, they cap it at around sort of 200 messages a week anyway. So it's not like cold email where you can send thousands potentially. And then positioning as well. So again, this goes back to your profile. This goes back to your messaging in terms of how you're actually reaching out to people. Like, how do you want to position yourself? You want to position yourself that you're the expert, that you've got the solution to their pain and their problem. And, this can help as well. I'm not saying for you to go and post on LinkedIn and things like that. I think the majority of people should focus on just doing DMs and reaching out to people and just having real human conversations. But you can really position yourself and your profile as the expert on LinkedIn. And once that's nailed, then lead generation becomes a lot easier. And then you just want to start having real conversations with people. So like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. You can only send a certain amount of connections. You can only send a certain amount of messages, but you want to start building up that backlog of people where you're having conversations, because some people are really active on LinkedIn and they'll respond back instantly. And some people, you'll get a response once a week, but it's not that they're ignoring you. They just forget to log on to LinkedIn. They haven't got it downloaded on their phone or whatever. And that's why as well, with my coaching clients, I teach them to actually go and do LinkedIn outreach as well as email outreach. So it's a multi-channel follow-up system, because some people are active on LinkedIn, some people are more active on email, yada, yada. And then, you want to book people in for meetings. You want to keep that crystal clear and simple for them, or whatever your call to action is. It may not be a meeting, it may be something else. And then you're going to be having sales calls. So what next? And you're probably thinking there's a lot of information to take in there, but the main thing is just to start having real conversations with people. And how do you actually do that? Just stick to one system, don't overthink it, and just be consistent with it over time. And you'll start having real conversations, and you'll start getting people booked in. It may not be, 5 meetings a week, it may be 1 a week, but you can slowly increase that and increase your skill level in order to actually get people on a booked call, or whatever your sales mechanism is. And yeah, there's a lot of things to think about. You've got to think about your lead list. You've got to think about your offer and your ideal customer profile, all of these things. But if you are struggling with anything like this, then you can book a call with me, or you can chat with me on Instagram, and I can explain to you how my one-on-one coaching works. So click the link in the description, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.